Welcome to Star Watch Now, your front row seat to all the hottest gossip, drama, and breaking news from the world of entertainment. If it's trending, shocking, or star-studded, we're covering it. Stay tuned. You won't want to miss what's coming next.
The night has not begun, but the story is already moving. Long before the lights turn on and the cameras roll, something unusual has been quietly unfolding behind the scenes. A guest list surfaced, a seating chart followed, and within hours, an entire industry seemed to hold its breath. The 2026 Weibo Night is about to open its doors, bringing together nearly 100 of the most recognizable faces in Chinese entertainment. On paper, it looks like a celebration. In reality, it feels more like a moment of truth. Because this is not just another gala. This is where presence speaks louder than speeches, and placement can matter more than applause. Two names in particular changed the tone of the conversation overnight. Once they appeared on the same list, the discussion was no longer about fashion or performances. It became about timing, history, and what it means when two figures who rarely share the same space are suddenly mentioned together again. Online reactions did not explode. They spread quietly, steadily, as if everyone understood the weight of what was coming. Some watched with excitement, others with caution. Many simply waited. Because when an event attracts this much attention before it even begins, it usually means something bigger is at play. And for those paying close attention, this night is not about what will be said on stage, but about what will be revealed without a single word being spoken. Weibo Night has always been described as a celebration, but those inside the industry know it plays a different role. It is a mirror. Every year it reflects how power shifts, how influence evolves, and how public attention is redistributed. Being invited is one thing. Being noticed is another. And with nearly 100 celebrities expected to attend in 2026, the atmosphere feels heavier than usual. This year's lineup spans generations and genres, from established figures with decades of recognition to younger faces who have only recently stepped into the spotlight. That combination alone creates a quiet tension. It raises questions about continuity, about who is rising, and about who is being carefully positioned to remain relevant. What makes this edition different is not simply the scale, but the timing. The industry has gone through visible changes over the past year. Audience expectations have shifted. Online discussions have become sharper, more analytical. Viewers no longer consume appearances passively. They read between the lines. They observe patterns. And Weibo Night offers plenty to observe. Every detail from arrival order to seating placement is interpreted as a signal. Not officially, not openly, but collectively. It becomes a shared exercise in decoding meaning. The inclusion of two of the most influential figures of their generation has added another layer to that decoding. Their careers have followed distinct paths, shaped by different choices, different rhythms and different forms of public engagement. For a long time, their names rarely appeared in the same context. Not because of conflict, but because of distance. That distance became a story of its own. So when both names appeared in connection with the same event, the reaction was inevitable. Not loud, not chaotic, but deeply attentive. People noticed. And when people notice without being told what to think, curiosity grows stronger. Beyond individual names, the structure of the guest list tells its own story. There is a clear balance between experience and momentum. Established actors bring stability and recognition. Rising performers bring freshness and unpredictability. Popular singers and groups add emotional texture, ensuring the night is not only watched, but felt. This careful mix keeps the event accessible to different audiences at once. Long-time viewers feel familiarity. Younger audiences feel represented. Everyone feels included, which is precisely why discussions spread so quickly across platforms. Then came the seating chart. It did not confirm anything explicitly, but it did what subtle information often does best. It invited interpretation. Who sits closer to the center? Who appears slightly to the side? Who is placed among peers? And who stands alone? None of this is accidental, and everyone knows it, yet nothing needs to be explained. The chart became a conversation starter, not because it revealed secrets, but because it suggested them. In an industry where silence can be strategic, suggestion is often more powerful than statement. There is also a quieter, emotional layer to this event. For many viewers, Weibo Night is not just about status, it is about memory. Seeing familiar faces on the same stage brings back moments from previous years, from past projects, from earlier phases of the industry. It creates a sense of continuity, even as everything continues to change. That emotional connection is what keeps people watching, analyzing, and sharing. It transforms a scheduled gala into a collective experience. What is perhaps most striking is how much impact this event has had before it has even taken place. There have been no performances yet, no speeches, no awards handed out, and still attention is already at its peak. That speaks to the power of anticipation. When an event carries symbolic weight, the build-up becomes part of the story. Every update feels meaningful. Every small detail feels loaded with potential. As the date approaches, expectations continue to rise. Viewers are not only waiting to see who will attend, but how they will appear, who they will interact with, and what the overall atmosphere will reveal about the current state of the industry. In that sense, Weibo Night 2026 is less about spectacle and more about observation. It invites audiences to look closely, to feel quietly, and to draw their own conclusions. And perhaps that is why it has captured so much attention already. Because it does not demand a reaction. It earns one. The night itself will pass in a few hours, as all events do, but the conversations it generates will last much longer. They will continue online, in comment sections, in private chats, and in future analyses. And long after the lights are turned off, people will still be discussing what this gathering truly represented. Not because of what was said on stage, but because of what was understood without words. If you have been following these developments and want to stay connected to the stories behind the headlines, this is the perfect time to join us. Thank you for watching and for spending your time with Star Watch Now. Your support allows us to continue bringing you thoughtful, carefully crafted updates that look beyond the surface. If you enjoyed this story, consider subscribing to the channel and turning on notifications so you never miss what's next. The industry is always moving, and we will be here to follow every meaningful moment with you.